StraightallDay.com.
Now tuned into the show where you learn the discipline to show up day after day to do the work, the confidence to put yourself out there boldly and authentically, and the mental toughness to continue showing up, doing the work, putting yourself out there even when the success you've expected to achieve has yet to be achieved. And on top of all this, you get a huge dose of personal initiative. That is the go-getter energy that moves any one of us, including yourself, to go make things happen instead of waiting for things to happen. And then we put all these together into a series of frameworks, approaches, strategies, insights, techniques, and mentalities, all under one umbrella. We wrote a bunch of books on the subject, and we got this daily masterclass, as you heard me, every single day, that is called Work on Your Game. My name is Dre Baldwin, also known as Dre All Day, and welcome to the show. And today's topic is how to stop defeating yourself. Now, this is a topic that the reason that I'm even talking about this particular subject is because for all of us, the most important game that you play, the most important aspect of anything that you do, no matter how talented you are, what resources you have or do not have, however you like to gauge your chances of success, the most important aspect is your mentality. The mindset is the foundation of your success and is also the foundation of your failure anytime you have either one. So what I want to do with today's masterclass is make sure that you are not committing some mistakes that are actually leading to your demise and undoing all your hard work and basically sabotaging your own success. That's what we're going to make sure you're not doing in today's masterclass. I'm going to point out some things that I've seen people habitually doing that is causing their success, that is causing them to destroy their success. They're defeating themselves with it, and we're going to make sure we extinguish those habits from you and anyone else in the future with today's class. Now, before I get into that, let me tell everyone that I send out a daily motivation text every day. This will actually help supplement what I'm giving you here today, this daily motivation text that's guaranteed to keep you focused, sharp, and on point every single day. Just a quick message from me that is always straight from me, and you can reply to those messages because you are replying to me when you do so. You want to get that text, just text me at this number, 305-384-6894. Again, that's 305-384-6894. Text me at that number. You'll get my daily motivation message every single day straight to your phone. Now to the topic, how to stop defeating yourself. Point number one, stop the negative self-talk. This is probably the most important thing not the negative part, but just the self-talk part. This is the most important thing that we all do with ourselves, because when you really think about the concept of conscious thought, all you're really doing is just having a conversation with yourself, right? That's all thinking is. You ask yourself a question, you give yourself an answer. So the quality of your questions will determine the quality of your answers. If you ever been to court, or any of you's a lawyer, or you ever watched one of those court TV shows, or you ever seen a documentary of lawyers in court, cross-examining witnesses, the quality of their questions or the type of questions that they ask set the witness up for how they can answer. So if the witness wants to give a certain type of answer, but the lawyer does not set them up with the question to do so, then the witness can't even say what they want to say. It's all based on what the lawyer asks. So a good lawyer, when they're trying to trip up a witness, they'll ask them questions that are set up to trip them up. And a lawyer who's trying to make the witness look good will throw them softballs to set them up to look good. That's exactly what we do all the time when we're asking another person questions and when they're answering. And we do the same thing with ourselves all the time. We are having an ongoing, running, open Q&A with ourselves through the process of thinking. So when you ask yourself poor questions, you are setting yourself up for negative self-talk. For example, if you have been trying to lose weight, let's say you've been trying to lose weight for next summer, and then you get on the scale and you realize that you actually gained 3 pounds since last week, and then you ask yourself a question such as, all right, why do I keep messing up when it comes to losing weight? Or why do I have such a problem with losing weight? Or why am I so undisciplined that I can never get to the body type that I want to get into? All three of those questions are disempowering questions that set you up for negative self-talk, because the way that you framed those questions, you aren't giving yourself the possibility of answering in a positive way. You're setting yourself up to answer in a negative way because you're asking a poor question. So the quality of your questions determine the quality of your answers. This is why I wrote a book called Ask Yourself a Better Question. When you ask yourself better questions, you change the quality of your responses. And when you change those responses, you're changing your self-talk. When you change your self-talk, you change your actions, and that leads to a whole string of outcomes that change your life. So the kind of questions that you're asking yourself play a huge role in where you end up in life. And again, it doesn't matter what the circumstance is. You could be in the worst of circumstances, and instead of asking yourself, why do I get so unlucky with bad circumstances? That's a poor question. Or asking yourself, why did this person decide to do something dumb that put me in a bad position? That's another poor question. Or why am I so bad as to have done something that got me into this terrible situation? Another terrible question that you should never ask. Instead, you can ask, in the exact same circumstance didn't change, same situation, ask yourself the following question. What's the positive that I can take from this situation? That's a more empowering question. Or you can ask yourself, what's something that I can do in this moment right now that is not ideal, but what can I do in this moment that will put me in a more positive state of mind? You can ask yourself, what can I do in this moment that will move this situation closer to what I actually want it to be? These are more empowering questions. Even if you're not quite sure of the answer in the moment, you're asking yourself a more empowering question where if your brain has to think about it for a little while, that should be telling you something. Maybe it's because you don't do it that often, so your brain's not used to that kind of question. It's not conditioned to answer it because you're not used to asking it. So asking yourself more empowering questions can change the trajectory of your thoughts, which leads to your actions, your habits, your virtue, your character, your virtue, and everything else that happens in your life. So stopping that negative self-talk starts with what kind of questions are you asking yourself? And pay attention to the questions that other people are giving you to ask yourself. Pay attention to that as well. The things that you're taking in frame what kind of questions you actually end up asking yourself. Keep in mind, if another human being, this is something that I tell people all the time, if another human being spoke to you the way that many of you speak to yourselves, you would not be friends with yourself. You wouldn't be friends with anyone who spoke to you as negatively, as consistently as you do to yourself. In my book, Work on Your Game, I explained that it takes 17 positive thoughts to counterbalance every one negative thought. Let me say that again. Here's the book, Work on Your Game. For those of you who haven't seen it, 250 pages where I explain not only the entire Work on Your Game philosophy, but I also give a narrative that explains my story and how the story that I lived in my life became the philosophy of Work on Your Game. So the Work on Your Game philosophy is not just some random thing that I made up. It's how I was able to pull myself up to become who I become. And at the same time, how I learned that I could actually empower other people by sharing with them the same tools that I had to develop myself. You can get that at workonyourgamebook.com. Or when you claim your free copy of the third day, I will offer you that book as part of the Mental Game Super Duper Bundle. That along with the Mental Workbook, Bulletproof Mindset, and the 30 Days to Discipline Manual. So you can actually leave that bundle with 10 books, believe it or not. And again, that's at thirddaybook.com. But in this book, Work on Your Game, I explain the 17 positive thoughts to counterbalance even one negative thought. And understand that words are the tangible manifestation of thoughts. Words are the tangible manifestation of thoughts. So everything that you say is just something that you can feel it a little bit more of what you are already thinking. And then actions are a tangible manifestation of words. So what I am instructing you to do here to stop defeating yourself is to stop talking down on yourself. Stop saying negative things to yourself about yourself. Stop telling yourself what you can't achieve or what you won't achieve. Stop beating yourself up over past and current mistakes. And definitely don't beat yourself up over future mistakes that you didn't even make yet. If you see it as a future mistake, just don't do it. Then you can't make the mistake. But your self-talk, huge when it comes to whether you're setting yourself up for defeat or setting yourself up for victory. What you say to yourself, not so much what everybody else says. Your self-conversation is the most frequent conversation you have and is the most important. Because anything that I say to you, you could decide to take it or leave it. But if you take something that I say to you and you start saying it back to yourself, it has 10 times the impact when you say it to you than when I say it to you. Even if you think I said something that was amazing and you give it a 70 on the 0 to 100 scale of impact on you, when you take it and say it to yourself, it has a 700 impact on you, simply because it's coming from you. That auto-suggestion that, again, is detailed and explained in my book, The Mental Workbook, which is also part of the Mental Game Super Duper Bundle, which you can get at at thirddaybook.com. So beating yourself up over past mistakes, saying negative things to yourself, asking yourself disempowering questions, these are all part of negative self-talk. Stop doing that. Point number 2. Today's topic again is how to stop defeating yourself. Create strategies and habits that create positive momentum for yourself in your own mind. Your mind, this is the most important place to plant your seeds of success. In the way that you think. Not even in the actions that you take. In the way that you think. Because we know the process for creating success is be, do, and have in that order. So it starts with the way that you think. Then it leads to your actions. Then it leads to the results. So in your mind is where you need to plant those seeds of success, because they will grow into who you are being as a person. Then those seeds will lead into the things you do, and that will lead to the results that you get. And again, read my book, The Mental Workbook, where I explain exactly how all of this stuff works. And as a matter of fact, I talk about the be, do, have principle in every one of these books. I talk about it in Work on Your Game, in The Mental Workbook, in The Third Day, The Mirror of Motivation, and The Super You. I talk about it in damn near every book that I write, because it's such an important principle for you to understand. It doesn't matter what topic you're talking about. That principle applies across the board to all of them. So this is why you plant your seeds of success in the mind and what you say to yourself. Write down on paper. Here's what you do. This is exercise. To create strategies and habits to create positive momentum, here's what you do. Write down on paper or digitally, what are the things that you want to have in your life? What are the goals that you wish to achieve, the outcomes that you want to witness for yourself? Write all of those down. What are all the things that you want in life? And put no limits on yourself. Just write down all the things you want. Then write down all the things you need to do in order to achieve that, because you know you don't get something for nothing. Or there's the law of reciprocity out here on this planet. So all the things that you would need to do in order to achieve those haves, those outcomes, write all those down. Then when you're done with that, ask yourself, and you're gonna write this down, who do you need to be? What type of person do you need to be in order to achieve these outcomes? Write all that down. And the type of person you need to be, make sure you're not putting in action steps. They're not doing things. The doing you did in point 2. But in the being part, you're just talking about your energy, the way you see yourself, how you feel about yourself, your self-talk, your consciousness. That's the being part. And then after you wrote all of those down, here's what you do next. You're going to take all of that and you can put it into a narrative form. So you can put it into a sentence form, or if you just want to make them bullet points and read them off one by one, you can do that too. I like it better in sentence form. And in the mental workbook, I help you understand this and do it. I also help you do it in the mental workbook. Write down on paper what you want to have, what you want to do, and who you need to be. Then read this out loud to yourself every single morning before you look at anything else. Before you check text messages, before you check your email, read out loud to yourself this statement of being, doing, and having. You're going to read it in the opposite order from what you created. You create it through your having, then doing the being. You read it through being, doing, and having. First thing in the morning, this is the first thing that you take in. This is the first thing you say to yourself every day. And before you go to bed at night, this is the last thing that you should be saying to yourself. Now, why is this? Why is it that you should do this first thing in the morning and last thing at night? Why not just do it 2 times in 2 in the afternoon and 5 o'clock, 5:30 when you're having dinner? Why not do it then? The reason why you do it first thing in the morning is because your subconscious mind has not yet been clouded by your conscious thoughts, because you haven't been thinking anything, you've been sleeping. So that's the first thing you give yourself, is basically coating your brain with positive thoughts, positive self-talk, and this will lead to the rest of your day being different simply because you started it differently. And the reason why you do it at the end of the day, because the last thing that you take in before you go to sleep, which means this is what your subconscious mind will be marinating on while you are sleeping. This is why kids, they watch a movie before they go to bed, they have nightmares. Why? Because the last thing that they saw. It's not the movie itself that makes it, it's because the last thing that their subconscious mind had imprinted on it. So the subconscious mind plays around with that last thing that it saw. So you need to be very cognizant and very conscious and very intentional about the last thing that you put on your mind before you go to sleep and the first thing you put on your mind when you wake up. If you just change those 2 things, this will lead to a drastic, significant change in your life. And in my book, The Mental Workbook, again, I explain all of these things in writing so that you can see it on paper, and I actually have you write through this process. So the Mental Workbook is 500 pages. It is not 500 pages of reading. There's a significant amount of space in that book that is set aside for you to write in, so that you know what you need to be doing on a day-to-day basis. So doing this, as I just told you, first thing and last thing every day, this is the mindset equipment of going to the gym every day and taking care of your body. Any of you who works out every single day, you're probably in pretty good shape. Your heart's in pretty good shape. You got nice muscles. You got 6-pack abs or whatever else you want from your body from working out every single day. You have it. Doing this is the mindset equipment of that. So that, this is why it matters, when you eat a metaphorical slice of cake or a metaphorical bowl of ice cream, the person who works out every day and they go to the gym every day, it doesn't destroy their health to eat some ice cream. It doesn't destroy their health to eat a slice of cake. And why is that? Because this person has built up a back catalog of sorts of positivity with their body such that their body can take the cake and ice cream and still be fine. They can take having some junk food like some fried chicken or some macaroni and cheese or whatever other foods that you know are not healthy for you, but they taste good. You can eat those and be fine if you're a person who works out every single day. So basically you made the payment up front by going to the gym, and now you have earned yourself the space to step outside of the discipline and have something that you might not otherwise have. I talk about that in my book, The Third Day. That the third day is not all about being a robot that is who is 100% disciplined all the time. That is not what the third day is about. Part of the third day is also understanding that we are human beings, and as humans, sometimes you're going to want to step out of your discipline, and it's okay to do so as long as you have earned the right to do so and you set up strategies that create opportunity for you to step out of it when you want to, not just randomly doing it just because you felt like it. Because then when you're just randomly doing it and there's no strategy behind it, that's when things get out of control. So this is why you build up that back catalog of positivity with your body. Same thing you can do with your mind. So you could eat cake and ice cream, or you could deal with a negative situation and not get thrown off course. The inevitable negativity of other people and the inevitable negativity that might be stirred up by the setbacks of life, these things will happen. All right, I'm not telling you that putting yourself in this state mentally means that, and not defeating yourself means that you will never feel negative, that you'll never have a bad situation, you'll never have an experience that pisses you off, you'll never have somebody get on your nerves, you'll never be in a moment when maybe you step outside of your normal positive character. I'm not telling you that that's what's going to happen. That's not what's going to happen. So I'm telling you the opposite of that, okay? What I'm helping you understand here is that the reason why you're going to condition your mind like this, like I talk about in the mental workbook, you're going to do the mental conditioning. The first chapter of this book, Work on Your Game, is called Mental Conditioning. The reason why it's the first chapter is because you got to be in shape. It doesn't matter what you're capable of, you're not in shape to actually execute on it. So you're going to get your mind in shape through what I talk about in the mental workbook. That first 10 minutes of the day, last 10 minutes of the day, what you're saying to yourself, that auto-suggestion, so that when the bullshit happens in between your life and every single day, you're able to deal with it because you condition yourself to handle it. You got it? That's the reason why you do it. It works mentally the same way that it works physically. You built up the mental discipline that the bullshit of life does not slow you down, let alone does it stop you. Point number 3. Today's topic, once again, is how to stop defeating yourself. Position yourself to win. Set yourself up for success. How do you do this? Do things that you're actually good at. See, you won't be talking negative to yourself and you won't be beating yourself up if you're doing things you're actually good at, because you're probably going to be getting success when you're doing things that you're good at. I mean, doesn't that just make sense? If you're doing something that you're not yet good at, either get help in the form of coaching from a person who can tell you how to actually do it and cut down on your learning curve, maybe insight from someone who is already good and can tell you what you might not be paying attention to, or maybe just getting somebody else to do the job so you don't have to try to do something that you're not actually good at, and therefore you don't have to deal with the frustration of doing something that you probably shouldn't be doing in the first place. And I got an episode coming on this very subject, when to fire yourself, when you should try to do something on your own and when you should find somebody else to do it and stop trying to do something that you're actually not good at. The dumbest thing that many people do, and a lot of solopreneurs are very, very guilty of this. Any of you solopreneurs listen to this, I'm about to talk about you, and you can tell me if I'm wrong about you. Many solopreneurs make this mistake, is that they try to do everything on their own. They try to take on brand new tasks that are not in their zone of genius, not in your wheelhouse. You try to do them all by yourself without consulting someone or something that might have a lot more knowledge than you have. So then what ends up happening is you invest a ton of time into doing something that you should have never been doing in the first place, and you're not even good at it. So even though you put all that time in, you still don't get the result. How many of you are doing this? I know a lot of you are doing it because I've talked to a lot of you and I've seen a lot of the results of what a lot of you have done, and I've told you directly, stop doing that. You're fired. Do not do that anymore. Stop doing this. You are burning up your most valuable resource, which is time. Stop it. I order you, I beseech you to stop doing things that you are not good at. First of all, you're defeating yourself. Secondly, you're wasting your time doing something that you're not even going to produce a quality result in for anyone. Third, the opportunity cost of the thing that you should be doing, the thing that you're good at, you're paying with the opportunity cost of not doing that. So if you're great at writing, but you're spending all your time trying to prove that you can be a fucking TikToker, not only are you failing at being a TikToker, you're also not doing your best thing, which is writing. So you're losing on both ends. You're burning the candle on both ends in a negative way. Stop doing that. Yes, you can do new stuff. Yes, you can take on new skills. Yes, you can try build a new habit or whatever you want to call it. But get the knowledge and the guidance of those who have already done it so that you know that you're doing what you're supposed to be doing. You're doing something following a pattern and a process, not just randomly doing stuff and hoping that it works, which it probably won't. Or, like I talked about in episode 1178, get people around you who are good at the things that you're not good at and excuse yourself from the situation. There's nothing wrong with that. And I'll give you a hint. Things get done much faster when you enroll other people who are better at you at certain skills than when you try to develop those skills all by yourself. Because as human beings, we have several limitations. One of them being we can only focus on one thing at a time. Another one being we ain't good at everything. There's no one listening to this who's good at everything. They might appear to be good at everything, but what they're really good at is knowing when they're not good at something and getting somebody else to do it, and then maybe they just take the credit for it, but they didn't do it. So maybe there's some things that you don't see, but nobody's good at everything. So anyone who appears to be that way, they're just fooling you. It's just a camera trick. Get people around you who are good at the things that you're not good at. Remove yourself from the situation so that you can produce better results for everybody, including yourself. The problem is many people use their lack of resources or their alleged lack of resources as an excuse for not pursuing this route. They don't want to go this route and get other people on their team because they feel, well, I don't have the resources, I don't have enough money, I don't have enough time, I don't know enough people. When the real issue is their mindset and a lack of resourcefulness. It's not a lack of resources, it's a lack of resourcefulness. And this is causing you to defeat yourself. But I got a whole episode coming that will help you with all of this, and you're going to stop making this mistake. Because I see too many people making this mistake, and you are defeating yourself, thinking that you're already defeated. You're actually making the situation worse. But I'm going to help you out. Stay tuned. The episode is coming. Let's recap today's class, which is how to stop defeating yourself. Number one, stop the negative self-talk. If another person spoke to you the same way that you speak to you on a daily basis, you would not be friends with yourself. My book, Work on Your Game, I told you, 17 positive thoughts to counterbalance even one negative thought. In other words, you cannot afford a negative thought. So stop beating yourself up over past or current or future mistakes. Number two, create strategies and habits that create positive momentum for you in your own mind. This is the most important place to plant your seeds of success in your mindset, your mental conditioning. My book, The Mental Workbook, is all about mental conditioning. Every day you need to read aloud to yourself what you want to have, what you need to do, and who you need to be, and read it in reverse order. Be, do, and have. In that order. Be, do, and have. First 10 minutes of every day, last 10 minutes of every night should be the first thing you say to yourself in the morning and the last thing you say to yourself before you go to bed at night, to the point that you should be able to say it without even looking at it because you'll have memorized it because you're saying it every single day. This is the equivalent of working out every day, which affords you the opportunity and the space to eat some fried chicken and ice cream when you want to, because you've already put in the discipline that you've earned the right to step outside of the discipline. You do not have to be disciplined all day, every day like a robot. The third day, in the book, The Third Day, I detail that and explain to you that you do not have to do it all the time. So some of you might think that that's what I'm going to tell you. It is absolutely not. Point number three, position yourself to win. Do things that you're actually good at so that you are winning. When you do things you're good at, you usually win. If you're doing something you're not good at, either go get some help and replace yourself, or get some insight and coaching and information from someone who actually knows what they're doing so they can help direct your actions and your energies. Many of you make the mistake of trying to do everything on your own because I don't know why. Maybe you have some false beliefs about needing to do everything on your own. You absolutely don't, and you suck at. There are certain things that you suck at that you probably shouldn't be trying to do anyway, so stop doing it. I'm going to help you out. Got an episode coming on this exact subject very soon. And remember that things get done much faster when you enlist and enroll other people to help you rather than when you try to do everything on your own, simply because, again, you only got 2 hands and 2 eyes and 1 brain, and you are not good at everything. So I guarantee you, if you're trying to do everything right now, you're probably doing some things terribly, but you don't have anyone around you who actually look you in the face and tell you that you suck at this. You probably need to stop doing it. I will tell you. All right, join the Bulletproof Mastermind. I'll help you out. I will tell you directly, stop doing this thing because you're not good at it. All that being said, Text me so you can get my daily motivation text. My number, again, 305-384-6894. And any of you who wants to work with me directly, my Bulletproof Mastermind is open. Is my group coaching program. We have a members-only community where you can share your challenges, get help with all those challenges. You get on live training with me every single week. Is the only place you can get on a group call with me and get your questions answered. You can connect with other people in the group. We've already made a ton of connections in there already. People are making money through working with each other already. People are offloading tasks that they shouldn't be doing by themselves already. All that's happening in the Bulletproof Mastermind. The link to that is at Work on Your Game University. Just go to workonyourgameuniversity.com and you can get the information. You can get started. I want to see you on the next training call. Work on your game. Dre all day.